It's time. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to wait a few moments just to make sure everyone is here before I officially start. But welcome, happy Thursday, and hope everyone is doing great. Going to wait a few moments before we start, and then we'll get the party started. I'm going to be rocking and rolling real fast today. Got a lot to cover, and I want to get to our Q&A session because I think that's going to be really valuable for everybody. Okay, so we're just going to wait. Tell me as you're joining in where you're coming from in the chat. What's up, Kyle? Kyle's coming from Oregon. San Antonio. Connecticut. What's up, Brian? Tennessee. Austin. Woo! Got a lot of Texas folks in here. Florida, New York. Thank y'all so much for joining in. We're going to wait just a few minutes till we hit a certain amount of viewers, and then we're going to start. So I just want to make sure everyone is here when I start, and then we'll get the party started. Oklahoma City, Louisiana, North Carolina. Welcome, everybody. Super excited. I've been thinking about this stream for a week straight, trying to get it prepared. Well, more than a week straight, obviously, but really intentionally thinking about this stream. So it'll be a lot of content. What's up, Neil? Chicago. California. Fellow Logan. There's actually a good amount of Logans that are CPAs or in the accounting industry. Kate, Toronto. Awesome. One of my favorite cities ever. Canada. I'm glad we got some Canadians representing. I think this stream is going to benefit Americans and Canadians and anybody that runs their own accounting firm or is trying to update their firm and is in charge of different has responsibility in their firm. Some more California. Awesome. If I had a latte, I would cheers you right now. I don't have a latte this morning. If anyone watches my videos, that's kind of my signature. Okay, so I think it's ready for me to start. So buckle in, everybody. Hopefully the sound is good. But anyways, so howdy, everyone. I have to say that because I'm from Texas. Welcome to this exclusive YouTube live event. I like to think this live stream is a step above a webinar because webinars are great, but this is a live stream. There's a difference, okay? You know, webinar, I think it's a little cooler. In the past, I've done live streams on tax deadlines as a way to reflect on any trauma that happened from the previous months. I'm sure y'all can relate. And just hang out with the community, aka tax Twitter. I think a lot of tax Twitter is probably representing today. Today's live stream is all about preparing for tax season. And guess what? We're like 2 months away. So hope y'all are ready. Hopefully this live stream is going to help you out. There's a bunch of exercises I want you to do. I want you to follow along as I do them. So everybody, get off your chairs. All right? Let's do some stretches. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's not a workout regimen. I didn't trick y'all. But for real, during the months of November and December, it's like preparing for battle. For me, I get my clients lined up, I prepare my proposals or engagements, and then execute. Think of tax season like a marathon that you sprint. And then prep that we do in November and December help us survive the race that is tax season. So buckle in, everyone. This is going to go by real fast. I'm going to try to get through everything as fast as I can. Lot to cover. Just so you know, we're doing a Q&A during the live stream at the end of this stream. So stick around. I'm going to try to answer questions that y'all gave me through the intake form. There's a lot of great questions. And then as we're going, we're going to have, so I'm going to show you what my proposals are going to look like. And then and what I send to my clients. And then my employee, Gary, is going to be monitoring the chat for me to keep track of all of your questions. And I am going to have text. I already forgot my howdy text. So I got to do my howdy text. Howdy. So Gary is going to be monitoring the chat. Any questions that you have during the stream, post them up in the chat. Gary's going to keep track of them, and he's going to share them with me at the end for the Q&A. So let's go, Gary. All right. If you don't already know who I am, I'm the owner of a CPA firm in Austin, Texas. Check this out. The Graf Tax Co. PLLC. I'm also a content creator that makes videos about running my firm out of this home office. So this is where I work every day and sit a lot for preparing tax returns, doing accounting. So yeah, so I make content about running my firm and the accounting industry as a whole. And I'm hoping to inspire the next generation of accountants and accounting firm owners. All right. One more thing before we start. I do want to talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, I'm going to be that corny. The genesis of this live stream is because of ignition. If only I had little sound effects to bring up as I click a button. But anyways, so Ignition is a software I'm going to be talking a lot about, but I want you to know that Ignition is just a tool that I use to implement all the strategies I'm going to be talking about today. So my goal for this stream is that you learn. My goal for this stream is that you learn something that you can implement with or without Ignition. Okay, y'all ready? Are y'all ready? I need to make sure y'all are ready in the chat right now. I'm gonna get my mouth ready. Okay. And there's some stream delay. So as I talk, I'm gonna ask a question, and it's like a few seconds before y'all actually see it. So I may have to you see a slight pause just because I'm waiting to see what y'all are talking about in the chat. Okay. So to have a tax season, to begin with, you have to have clients, and I start off every fall with reviewing my client list. I track who didn't come back from the prior year, who I worked with over the current year, and who isn't a good fit anymore, and the potential clients that I met with over the year that were interested in tax prep for the coming season. I then analyze my pricing. There we go. So you know what I'm talking about. I then analyze my pricing for each client and review a list that I made throughout the year. If you don't make such a list, start doing this. Okay, it's going to help out a lot. So here's what it looks like for me for that list. I'll prepare a return and take a note if that return had a lot of complexity or messy documents, lots of back and forth, and communication that wasn't my fault. I'll then look at the price I'm billing the client for and then compare it to how I would price it if they were a new client, now that I know what their return is like. So I'll mark down how much I'm billing them for in one column, and then how much I'm going to raise their price for next year. And then you can do a little difference, and us accountants love Excel and make it all fun and do all these different metrics. But anyways, so now I could just bill them for more in that current year, and I will sometimes, but I have a service that allows me to do so. But other times I feel like it would be completely unexpected for the client and cause more pain than what it's worth. Those really bad unexpected bills and the client just blows up. So those aren't fun. I'm sure y'all have experiences with that. Emotions. Am I right? But anyways, So here's why it's important to write down how much you're going to increase the fee for next year. Because when tax season is over and some time has gone by, you're going to forget what happened. And your emotions aren't going to be as strong anymore. And when it's time to send out the price increase communication, your emotions then or currently will start messing with you and try to make you feel guilty. And you're going to have to rely on your list to pull you through it. These price increases will range from 20 to 100% and happens to clients that I've had for a couple of years. And what happens is that my pricing structure changes so much that it doesn't make sense to charge what I'm charging if they can be replaced with a new client paying twice as much. I know that just sounded very insensitive, but we don't run nonprofits. This isn't a charity. We have families and employees and our well-being to take care of. But don't get me wrong, this year was my second year of sending out big price increases to groups of clients, and it's still hard to send those out. It doesn't really get easier, but you know what to expect emotionally, and over time it may get a little easier, but it's still emotional. All right, so I'm going to look at the chat real quick, just see if I'm missing anything. We can employ our children to help with tax season. That's a good idea. Okay. All right. So now that we have an idea for who is going to work with us, we can get into what services we are going to provide to our tax clients. This is where we get to use our creativity. And building service packages is an art. And even though I tell myself each year, this is it, these are the packages that I can use over and over again, year over year, because it's perfect, I still spend hours the next year revising them and trying to make them better. But Logan, you may be thinking, but Logan, I'm a tax preparer. What other services are there other than preparing a tax return? As a tax pro, even though you may only offer the services of tax return preparation, you're actually providing your clients with a lot of different services. It's up to you to find out which services for your client, or which services that your clients value, and then monetize it. Yes, we're going to do a paradigm shift right now for some of y'all, and hopefully y'all are open to it. So keep your mind open right now. So for example, do your clients ask you questions throughout the year? You know, the quick question. Hey Logan, quick question. Yeah. Does anyone else get little PTSD when someone randomly just asks you quick question about like non-accounting and tax related stuff? And you're like, you just get like flashbacks of all these other quick questions you've had from your clients. Am I the only one? Hopefully not. Hopefully. It's kind of sad. It's the things. It's our cross to bear, I guess, as accountants. It just comes with the territory. But anyways, so the quick question answering, make it an add-on service. Do your clients ask you for tax documents or tax questions? Now, you're required to hold on to them by law, but you aren't required to send those documents to clients more than once. And if they have access to it, you definitely don't have to send them their work papers again, because they didn't mail them to you. They might have mailed them to you, but you can mail it back. So market access to tax documents for 7 years as an included service that you can sell to your clients. Do your clients want you to review their tax return live in person with them? What about a video summary of their tax return? Make it an add-on or included service. What about tax projections, check-ins, response times within 24 hours? Those are all services you can monetize. Am I blowing your mind? Or benefits they can also be benefits you communicate to your new clients. If you don't offer packages, you don't have to offer packages, but you'd be like, hey, here's all these cool things that we do along with your tax return. And your clients and the potential client be like, oh, that's kind of neat. I thought I was just getting a tax return, but now that you list all this other stuff, like this is going to make the decision a little more easier to go with you. Can y'all think of any other services that you provide other than tax return prep that I didn't list? Let me hear it in the chat. Financial therapy. Yes. Planning, bookkeeping, payroll. So what other services related to tax return you think? Tax resolution. How do I fill out my kids' FAFSA? That's a great service to add on because the tax return is directly related to that. Advisory and consulting, CFO work. What do I do with this invoice in QuickBooks? Yeah, state licensing. Those are all great examples that we can add on as services. Audit planning, new entity registration, excise tax. Entity review, W-4 review, W-4 filling out. That would probably be like an after return services that you could ask your client. That could be an added service, and that could be in a package, or it could be included all in one. So yes, lots of ideas. We can get creative with this. It doesn't just have to be tax return. It can be like something very like horizontal to it. So like, hey, I'll review your tax return. That doesn't have to be required for every return. That can be something optional that your clients opt in for, pay more for. All right. Okay. So one thing that I did learn from this past year is that the way I communicated price increases was like complicated. And I had so many clients reach out to me confused about what to expect for pricing. And that just like killed all my efficiency. Like, hey, Logan, I'm confused about your pricing. It's like, oh, shoot, I did not word that right. Something different I'm doing this year is simplifying communication and sending out my proposals in groups. And so I'll customize the pricing for my clients as well. Instead of like having a huge tranche of like 100 proposals all at once with like a base price, and then having to like communicate somehow like, oh, this isn't going to be your price, this is going to be another price. But instead I'm going to make it more customizable for each client. And last year I was trying to be as efficient as possible by sacrificing clarity by making one price increase language too complex. Yeah, just what I said. So with Ignition, I'm able to create a template and apply custom pricing to each engagement with help from my account manager, Neil. And let me show y'all real quick what that looks like creating a proposal. Like, what does a template proposal look like? Gotta make sure I'm not showing something other than this. So this is how I create proposals and how you can create a template in Ignition. I can start off when it starts, who it's with, what services I provide, how they're paid, my engagement letter, stuff, how it's presented to the client, and I can send it. And so I have access to all these other templates that I have created for over the years that I can just pull up and plug and play and send off, and I don't have to recreate it every time. It's a huge time saver. Okay. All right. So, excuse me, chorizo for breakfast. All right, so separately reduce. So I need to separately reduce, or sorry, I need to send my custom pricing separately to reduce the confusion on the front end for communicating pricing. That's what I'm going to do different this year. But communication is key. And I try to hammer pricing communication and multiple touch points with the client. And Ignition does a great job with allowing me to have multiple channels of communication and areas in the proposal so clients are on the same page. And I touch on pricing on the introduction page and the packages page and the service terms and the engagement letter. So like there should be no confusion on when they get the bill from me. And actually, I've only had maybe 2 instances where clients were like, hey, like this isn't right, or I was not expecting that. And that goes to show like how much time and effort I spend into communicating the pricing, which like I'm actually really proud of. Like clients have not really blown up on me on pricing, because with Ignition, you pull the payment. They don't initiate the payment on their end, on the client's end. You do it. You press the button, you get paid. All right, I'm going to check the chat, see if there's anything good or anything I'm missing. We're good. I think y'all are engaged. Great. Hopefully y'all are engaged. Okay. So, when trying to make what you're trying to communicate more understandable to the general population, Alex Hormozy, I don't know if you know him, but he wrote this book called $100 Million Offers, $100 Million Leads. And he recommends an app or software that helps you determine the reading level of your writing and to make it at a 3rd grade level. So it's easily understandable. And that's what I'm going to be doing with my communications and tax questionnaire this year, is to put it through that software so I can just make sure like, hey, am I actually asking this question right? I can also use ChatGPT to reword it and make it a little more understandable. So that's also a great application for that. All right, clients, client list, check. Services, check. Showed you briefly about the template creation. Packages are next. It says so down below me, so it has to be true. All right, if you've never offered multiple packages to clients, I'm going to call them packages, but you could say options. I might go from options to packages. I might interchange those a bunch, so I apologize. But I kind of use those interchangeably, like options you offer to clients or packages. I'm gonna hopefully try to say packages over and over again. All right. So if you've never offered multiple packages to clients, I recommend offering 3 different options. You'll be able to see what I offer here later on in the stream. Hopefully that's part of why you're here, is to see what I'm offering to my clients in the 3 levels. So you want to make more money? Offer 3 options. And I was thinking about this last night. My base package, I call it my compliance package. There's different items in there included other than tax return prep. If you didn't want to be all fancy, you could use my basic package, my compliance package, and you can use those different service items, and you could split those out into 3 different options depending on your price point. Because my pricing is pretty high, and my base level offers, my opinion, a lot of value to clients, and that's why I can charge so much. But if you're like, look, I'm not really into that, well, you can use my basic package, my compliance package, and you can split it up into 3 different levels and make money that way, and make more money that way, in my opinion. All right, so let's get some ideas flowing. All right, so this is where you can use pricing psychology to entice clients to choose the package that makes you the most money. Remember how we're running a business? I think a lot of us accountants, we just do the work. We don't think about like, oh, how can I really make money? This is a way, all right? It's okay to want to maximize your profits. Your clients are going to want to maximize the value they receive from you. It goes both ways. And so you have to find the happy middle between maximizing profits and maximizing value. Here's a great quote from Warren Buffett. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So ask yourself, what are your clients getting with your services or with each package that you create? What type of client profile are you attracting with each package? So maybe someone very sophisticated, or maybe someone with just a W-2. Package for one, package for the other. So each package will cater to a specific group of your clients. Unless you've done such a great job with selecting who you work with and they're all identical. Like it's all the same client, essentially. Then it would be purely about price psychology and how you operate those different prices between the same services that you offer. So if you're unfamiliar with price psychology, sorry, itch. Okay, so I said itch, not the B word. Okay, if you're unfamiliar with price psychology, it allows you to drive sales to a specific package due to it seeming like it has the best value. This is the cool part. So think about movie popcorn pricing as an example. A small popcorn costs $5. I haven't been to the theater in 5 years, so it may be more. And the large popcorn costs $15. So the large is way too much and it costs a lot. And the small is so small, it wouldn't be very satisfying. Enter the medium size. It's going to be priced at $13. So for $2 more, you can have twice as much popcorn with the large. And if you choose the medium, you'd be worried about missing out on the value of the large. So the middle choice, the middle package, is what helps you drive sales to one option or the other, or maybe you're driving to the middle package. So that's just one example of how 3 choices is superior to one choice, in my opinion. And especially in this situation, like for offering services, maybe not for products. Actually, no, for product size, it just depends. So products can be small, medium, large. So sorry. Okay, don't want to contradict myself. Okay, so I could talk about pricing psychology all day. So maybe I'll have to create some content around this because it's super cool. I don't think accountants really think about it that much. All right. So how do I use pricing psychology with 3 options? I price the middle option closer to the cheapest option, which is the base package, and the top option is priced really high to make the middle option more appealing. And my most expensive option is way more expensive than the middle option. My middle option is the one I make the most margin, which means I'm making more money for not that much more work, all things considered. So it is so cool. And I was looking at the stats of who chose my middle option, and I think roughly 25% of my clients chose the middle option this past year. So may try to do a little tinkering to crank that up a little more. But yeah. All right. Let's see. Just want to make sure I'm on topic. So let's say you have created your packages, but everything is in writing. And I don't know about you, but I'm not the most effective writer. And that's why I make a video explainer explaining each package. Again, if you don't have packages, you can still make a video explainer explaining what you're offering for the year, or what's in your engagement letter. But in Ignition, you can integrate a video in the proposal. And so when they open up the proposal, there's your video, and they watch that first. And you could see on my proposal that has like 100 views. Not everybody watches it, but my 1040 proposal has 100 views, which is good. That's like a good amount of people actually watching it. So I think almost everybody has watched it, all my clients. All right. But anyways, a video, this helps clients understand what they are getting with each package. And like I said earlier, I have to communicate to my clients over and over again, hoping that something sticks at one point in the proposal process. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know, there's always that one client That's like, okay, why am I getting, why am I getting it? Why am I paying this much again? And they do that after they sign the proposal, unfortunately. So you're like, oh no. All right. So, all right, some questions for y'all. Answer in the chat. How much time do y'all spend sending out invoices, checking the status of those invoices, and then reminding clients to pay those invoices? And then who here has unpaid invoices, and who here gets paid after they prepare the tax return? I realize that's like 20 questions. Sorry about that. Try to answer with some context. So, and good luck. Let me ask you again. How much time do y'all spend sending out invoices, checking, and I guess that's a whole bunch of group questions all at once. Dwight uses Ignition. He spends 0 time on invoicing. Martha says too much time and many still unpaid. I'm sure there's a mix between those extremes. Aaron uses Ignition too. Less than 5 minutes a month. My admin time is 40% of my time. Yes, Martha. I would say my admin time is like half. Half of my time, it feels like. There's so much admin time. Cassandra says her firm owners choose to be paid after the fact, which is okay. I'm not saying that's wrong, but that's okay. That's pretty much how I've been paid since I started my firm. Someone says way too much admin time. Yeah, it's a lot of admin time with just invoicing. Getting paid. You don't want to mess with getting paid during the heat of battle of tax season. Okay, so some features that helps me reduce. Some features that help me reduce admin time during tax season is not having to put in more time than a few clicks of effort to get paid for my work. So in order for clients to be able to sign my engagement letter, hopefully y'all use engagement letters, they have to provide payment information up front. And they also agree to get billed up front on completion or recurring payment throughout the year. So they know how they're paying me when they sign the proposal. And so I'm able to determine how I get paid through Ignition. Do I get paid now, later, or on a recurring basis? And it's all set up automatically. And I've gone through several iterations of how I get paid. And I'm thinking this year, I'm going to require 100% upfront payment for tax return prep, and which is like a huge hurdle for me emotionally and psychologically. And so if y'all do that, please encourage me right now, because I need that encouragement, because it's kind of scary to just get all the money all at once. And you're like, how do I manage? Like, how do I get motivated to work now? Do I just leave the country? No, I'm just kidding. All right. So getting paid how much, or getting paid all up front, all at once, will save me more time, because that's less clicks I have to do for each client. You know, clicks don't seem like that big of a deal, but when you have over 100 series of those clicks, it adds time and just distractions. Because if I'm like on the internet on a web page and something maybe is going slow for me or monotonous, I'll get distracted, and that just off rails me, because I'm very ADHD sometimes when it comes to that. Okay. So compared to last year, I don't need to add payments for extra work on their tax return. Oh, sorry, if I don't need to add payments for extra work. So this year I require a deposit for all of my compliance packages, and upfront payment for the advisory services in my middle package. And that deposit was like a baby step to the full price I'm doing up front. So pay to play, baby. Pay to play. And for my firm. So from the beginning of starting my firm, I would bill on completion of tax returns. And it's one of my favorite parts of running my firm. I just go into Ignition, click Invoice Now, and it sends an invoice out and pulls payment from their bank account or credit card on file, and I don't have to ask for payment. And the client doesn't have to make any effort on their end to pay. And if you use QBO, QuickBooks Online, you're going to like this. Ignition creates the invoice in QBO, and then when the deposit hits the bank feed, I can match the payment to the payment received to close the invoice. And I don't think I talked about engagement letters yet, have I? So maybe a little bit. Engagement letters can be a huge time suck. And do I have an engagement letter? Oh, I have a getting paid that I haven't shown yet. I was supposed to do that earlier. So engagement letters can be a huge time suck, and managing who has signed the engagement letter, who hasn't signed, sending reminders, and clients don't even read them, do they? Do they read the engagement letter? So there's a section in my engagement letter that I spend extra time on each year. It's called the termination of engagement section. Termination of engagement. And it's pretty much at the top of the engagement letter because Logan don't play. And I think this section is important because it gives me an out when things get out of hand. So I list out all the reasons that will get you terminated. Like if you're disrespectful, you're out. If you try to make us take a position on a tax return that we think is against the law, you're out. If you continuously don't respond in a timely manner, you're out. If you don't want to follow our procedures, you're out. Does anyone else do this in their engagement letters? Is this normal? What are y'all's thoughts on that? We have almost 20 minutes left, and I will go over an hour if y'all stick around for the Q&A. I'm going to hit that up very soon after I give y'all a sneak peek. What do y'all think of that termination of engagement section? You liking it? Yes. Do it. Add it. Okay? So, well, I have this in mind, and it allows me to point to it as a reminder to clients that I point to it as a reminder to clients that start to slack on comms to motivate them to respond. Be like, hey, due to this continuous unresponsive communication, we're gonna have to terminate because of that, because we can't work efficiently if we're just constantly asking you for work for something. Okay, this will also lower your stress because it's not something new to the client. Well, it could be if they never read the letter. So I forgot to mention that Ignition allows you to get e-signatures on engagement letters in the proposal. So you can set how many times you want to remind the client that haven't signed the proposal yet. You can also see if they've looked at the email or opened the proposal, if you need to do a more personalized follow-up, like, hey, you've looked at this 3 times, but you haven't signed it. Can you please sign it? Are you going to work with us? All right. Tracking projects. Guys, I hope y'all stick around for more. I hope y'all can stick around for more than an hour because I'm having a good time, and I think this might take more than an hour. I really apologize for that if you have a cutoff right at the top of the hour, but I think it will be worth it if you stay around if you can. Okay, so tracking projects. What project management softwares do y'all use? Carbon, TaxDome, Canopy, Intuit, ClickUp, Excel? I currently use Airtable to track my projects because I can build my own system with automations and it works for me. And what I do every year is I set up a new year in Airtable to track all proposals that are set up in that year. I then make an integration between Ignition and Zapier. So when a proposal is signed, it sends all the service tasks I'm going to be providing for that client to my project manager, Airtable. And it will also pretty much send everything from the proposal itself if I wanted to. So like all the data. So like it'll send the client name, email, price, a link to the engagement letter, the start date, the end date. And I can guarantee you, like, this is something that everyone can set up. I know integrations sound scary and very technical, but Ignition makes it very easy for you to do. They also will help you set up those integrations and give you step-by-step instructions so you don't have to do it alone. All right. So this feature, this tracking feature, project tracking feature, works with a lot of other project management software. So the ones that I listed earlier are included in that. And shoot, if you, it will shoot all of that information, all the proposal information, into Excel or a Google Sheet if that's what you prefer. And it's a beaut. You can check the chat. Quant, maybe Quant. I bet Quant integrates. If it's a modernish project management software, Ignition could probably integrate. So what is the name of the software for the tracking project feature? So Zapier is what I use to send information from Ignition to Airtable. Airtable is what I use to track projects, and Airtable is very customizable. You might not want to use it because it's just different. It's not like by default to be used as a project manager. So something like ClickUp might be better. I know ClickUp integrates well with it. Okay. All right, I'm just having to move really fast. So it's absolutely nuts how much time is saved with each proposal because of everything that happens inside it. So to recap with one proposal, I upsell services to generate more income. I get engagement letters signed. I get paid. My projects are tracked. And I set up expectations for what's next. All of that can happen with one proposal. And I didn't talk about this much because I didn't talk about the next steps of the part of the proposals. So there's a next steps page where you can set expectations and links and all this other stuff and set up different automations after the engagement is signed. But anyways, so there's a lot of setup time on the front end for these proposals, but imagine doing those 5 things over 100 times during tax season manually. Like, that's a part-time admin position to do all of that. And hopefully you've learned something so far with or without Ignition. Okay, so sneak peek time, everybody. Let's take a look at my proposals that I'll be deploying to my clients for 2024. They aren't 100% final versions, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, but you'll get a good idea of what they're going to look like. And I send out a business entity tax return proposal separate from personal tax returns. Some firms do all-in-one packages, like here's your business return, here's your business owner return, all in one. But I think that opens up for more risk. That's just my opinion. Okay, let's see if I got this right. All right, okay, everybody. Here is my personal tax return proposal for 2024. The intro page. I know I'm going to show the packages, but if you've never seen Ignition, what it looks like on the client side, this is a great opportunity. So here's your intro. Here's a video. This is the video that I used last year, but you can see it has 100 views, which is legit. I'll make a new one for 2023. But you have this intro page saying, hey, here's what's up. Ignition, depending on the service level that you take, that you choose with Ignition, they'll create a sick looking brochure so you can razzle dazzle clients. And then your options. Here it is, people. Sneak peek. Okay. So 3 options for my clients, for my 1040 clients. We have compliance, collaboration, and concierge, the 3 C's. I couldn't get that creative. It's just so simple and just made sense. But anyway, so I have my compliance package. Hopefully y'all can see this well. And that's just basically a tax return. And you can have like little descriptions for each package up here so clients get an understanding of like, oh, is this for me or not? But anyway, so the compliance package is like the base level. So I'm going to prepare your return. I'm going to do a tax return review. I'm going to subscribe you to my newsletter for a year, and then I'll keep track of all your documents. And then what's a variable? That just means if there's extra work needed to prepare your return, something's new, then I'm going to use this little feature to bill you when I complete the return and be like, hey, you bought 3 rentals this year, and this is the money it took for me to prepare that. Just pull it. All right, collaboration. So this is for like business owners or people with advanced situations. Everything over here, but you add year-round access for quick questions and IRS notice assistance. But anyways, like I said earlier, you could take my compliance package and split it into 3. So you could just have base level, I'll prepare your return. Second level, I'll prepare your return and review it. Third level, I'll prepare your return, review it, and get you subscribed and keep track of all your documents if you need them later and you're just lost. I think that could work. Anyways, so collaboration, I tried to make this, you could see the pricing, $1,000 to $1,600 to $3,100. And I actually bumped up my pricing. So it's $1,200 now. But anyway, so $1,000, $1,600, and $3,100. So the jump from the lower to middle is only $600, but the jump from the middle to the upper is way more, double, basically. And I do that on purpose for the psychology. So people are like, I don't know if this actually, well, I think it works, but maybe it doesn't. But anyway, so the middle package could just be like, all right, they get, from a client's perspective, they could be looking at this, like, okay, this one's only $600 more, and I can ask him questions year round, and I get IRS notice assistance. Heck yeah, I'll do that. I'll pay $600 more, and then it's way less than the concierge package. People don't like doing extremes either. They don't like doing the low end or the extreme upper end. So that's why I try to drive to the middle. Okay, how are they looking so far? How's it going, chat? Nothing. Okay, y'all are tuned in. All right, so let's say if you just never experienced Ignition, once you choose a package, client chooses a package, they get to see what the details are for each service level. This is key. Again, I just drive hard the pricing expectations. Drive hard the pricing expectations are very important. Year-round access for quick questions. Hey, it's any email or call that doesn't warrant additional research or work. So it's kind of subjective, but that's how we operate. Okay, Ryan, that's a good question. We'll try to keep track of it. Hopefully get it answered at one point. Okay, so these are, once you choose a package, it sends you to this page. You get to see what's up. Then you get to see the pricing, how much you're paying. Build on acceptance. All right, so that's upfront pricing. Build on acceptance. So this is gonna say build on completion. It won't say on acceptance because it's 0. Prices to be confirmed. And then they provide their payment information with this page, the payment page, and then they sign the engagement letter. And in the engagement letter, check it out. Here's the top. Here's termination of engagement. It's right there so they can see it pretty easily. Here's a lot of hoopla. And then at the bottom, you can see the service terms, like even more nuance for the client, and be like, okay, this is where you set all your like dates for, like, all right, I need all your information by March 1st, so we're going to extend your return, etc. Like, what is involved in a tax return review? Just go into the details more. That's not shown on the services. And then the next steps after the proposal is signed, this is what they'll see. Like, you can set expectations and how the billing worked. Okay, are y'all interested in the business sneak peek? the business, how I do my business proposals. Same terms, but the options look a little different. So, yes, I love the enthusiasm, Ryan, in the chat. So, same names, compliance, collaboration, concierge. I'm creative. I consider myself creative, but let's not recreate the wheel for every package. Okay, so again, the base package is just the tax return. Sometimes clients just do the tax return prepare. They don't want fancy stuff. The middle package has the tax return. Oh, keep in mind that these are billed every month. So this is about $2,000, $167 times 12. So for business clients, I like to give them a 12-month installment payment, essentially. I thought about doing an all upfront payment, but I think I'm just going to go with installment again for at least this year, just because it's a lot of money, and it's also nice to get money after I prepare the return. Just psychologically, it's nice to get money in the off season. So, but anyways, so I have the middle package. I do their tax return. I include year-end access for quick questions. I do a fall tax projection and IRS notice assistance. And then they get these same services that's included in the compliance, tax return review, subscription, document storage. And I have all these little additional work variables just to cover my butt in case there's out of scope work, And I really like this business middle package. Like I want to replicate it for my personal, but the only thing is a lot of non-business clients don't need fall tax projections, or at least my client makeup. So I don't include that on my personal level. So I need to figure out how to bridge that gap. All right, and then we have the top package, which is like the hand-holding package. And we have mid-year and fall tax projection and an annual tax planning meeting. That's pretty much like the big kickers between the collaboration, the middle package. Cool. All right. Are all those jiving with y'all? I'm pretty proud of these, and it may not look exactly like this for 2024, but I think it's going to look pretty much like it. And we have 10 minutes left till the top of the hour. I have 50 questions to answer. Okay, let's make sure. So I recommend having a service around answering client questions that don't involve preparing their tax return. And that's the quick questions access, the access for quick questions. And in the service terms, you can list out what types of questions that will count towards it. But this service is really hard to uphold when there's a question that requires your expertise. So, and when it's a really simple answer and clients aren't subscribed or not subscribed, they don't have that package. It's a really easy answer, and they ask you, and they're they don't have that collaboration package or higher. It's hard to stick to your guns and be like, hey, you got to pay for that. So that's why it's important to make it clear that if a client does have questions, if they choose a specific package, they'll need to pay for consulting to answer the question. So you got to set that expectation in the beginning. And clients that want to work with you should respect that. They'll be like, yeah, I'll pay you money for a consulting fee to answer that question, no matter how simple. All right, that's one way to make your life simple or easier throughout the year. And you can point to the engagement that they signed as support. Boundaries, people. Your expertise is worth paying for. You're worth it. You're valuable. Okay? Awesome. All right. Let's let you see my full face again. Okay, so my goal this year is to send out all my proposals by December 1st. That's coming up, a couple weeks. And usually I send them out at the first of the year, but I think sooner the better, just so I can get a nice expectation and get things rolling a little faster. All right, before we hit the Q&A, I'm a little late on this because we're already an hour, but I hope y'all stick around. Before we hit the Q&A, I'm asking you, pleading with you to join my community of subscribers and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Even if you're not really a YouTube person, please do. And follow me on X, Twitter. I post a lot of goodies on there as well. Look at the description link, or look for the links in the description for following me on Twitter. And I post a lot of valuable stuff on Twitter, similar content as what you've heard today, if you don't already follow me on there, and if you've never really seen my videos and this is your first time tuning in. All right, so I have some other links in the description that I'd love for you to check out. One has some great resources for you to utilize for free through Ignition. The other is if you're curious about using Ignition and want to try it out for free or get more information on it. And if I don't get to your question, I will try to answer them later through the comments section when this becomes a video. So I'm gonna shut off this video because I'm not recording it. Actually, I was supposed to be recording it. Now I just noticed I didn't click the start recording button. I was too excited, y'all. But this live event will become a video, and fortunately, it won't be at the quality I want it to be at. All right. Anyways, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And use the Ignition referral link in the video description. And awesome, you'll get a discount if you sign up through me as well using my referral link. Discount for 3 months, 50% off. Just have to disclose that. Okay, Q&A time. Thank y'all so much for joining in, and hope y'all had a great time so far. There's a ton of questions that I will still get through because I imagine I'll be here for a little bit longer. And thank you, Gary, for posting awesome questions from the chat so far. Okay, so I'm going to briefly go over as fast as I can questions from the intake form. Where do I get my engagement letter templates? Well, it pretty much started off. Ignition gives you templates to start off with, and you can go from there and take it from there. I think there's hopefully one day in the future where I can just be like, hey, here's my templates. Here's a link to it. That'd be really cool. You can just steal my templates. But all right, what are your thoughts on offshore support for the tax season? I think it's great. I used it for the first time this past year. Worked out great. It helped me work less, caused less stress. But I got Gary now, so I don't need to offshore currently. Do I utilize a checklist for every tax return to make sure you address all potential tax savings, or how else do you standardize the individual returns? Yes, I'm creating a checklist. Actually, and my tax software actually has a nice little checklist that lets me make sure I am addressing all the potential savings. Hair gel. What beard product do you use? Well, for hair, I just started using this little pomade with the matte finish, concrete hold. I don't know how well it's working. You probably can't see because of the light. Beard. It's called beard conditioner. Check it out. It's called Smooth Viking beard conditioner. Makes your beard look real nice. All right, if you were starting your firm again, would you become as tax heavy or try to get monthly returning clients? It depends where I would be financially. So because where I was financially, I'd have a lot of tax clients to get a lot of money up front. And now I'm moving towards the monthly clients and slowly kind of replacing the tax clients. How do you feel about reviewing more returns versus preparing? I love doing both. Doing a lot of preparing a lot of returns is hard. I love reviewing returns. This is a weird answer, but reviewing returns allows you to have a more analytical mindset versus preparing returns. You're just in the weeds and you can't see things from a high level. How would you recommend a CPA with Big Four audit experience gain experience knowledge to start their own firm? So with audit, I actually have no idea. I didn't start from audit, so I don't know. But really move into a smaller firm setting maybe. I know Michael Myhouse he has an audit benefit plan audit firm. he went from a big firm to starting his own firm actually. And really, you just got to do it for a good enough time and think about how you can do it better in your own firm. How can I, as a firm owner, best implement strict time management practices to maximize efficiency and minimize distractions? I'm getting to the point where I have to have a to-do list, and I'm almost going to, I may schedule out that to-do list during my day, so I know, like, okay, I have a certain amount of time to do this task, a certain amount of time to do this task, because I get very distracted. There's a million different things as a firm owner to take care of, and if you are like have everything open all at once, you're just gonna hit 10 different things that you shouldn't be hitting in the span of like 20 minutes when you should be focusing on one thing for 20 minutes. So I think scheduling out your time for a specific task and give it, like, throughout the day, I think that'd be a really good way to stay focused. I'm going to do that. Hold me to it. All right. How do we convert 1,000 clients that love paper into paperless clients? For portals, PDFs, and Ignition. So you charge for scanning the documents. A lot of money, probably. That's like I've done that. So I've been there. I've gone from receiving a lot of paper to requiring a digital only format. So a way to transition them to all digital is to make them pay to scan their documents, because it takes time. It takes a lot of time, and you have to track all the documents too. You lose them, or you try not to lose them, and it's so much harder, in my opinion. I can understand using paper. I've been there before, but in my opinion, it's way more efficient paperless. So you really got to inflict some monetary pain. They have a choice. Hey, if you can do this all digitally if you want, and make it easy for them to do it digitally as well. Help them out. Hold their hand throughout that process. If you could do it over, would you purchase clients again from a previous employer or just start from scratch? Because I had a relationship with those clients already, I'd probably do it again, because I needed that money, and that money helps me live. I don't know. I would do it again. There's your answer. Okay, so do you have a senior always reviewing a tax return before it goes out? I'm the senior. Gary's going to be helping with tax prep this year. I'm going to be doing a lot of tax prep. I have a contractor that does tax prep, and he's going to be helping out with prep. But I'll always review the return. They'll always review their own work as well. There's always going to be a review. All right, best practices for your first year of going out on your own. Any tips or ways to make the first year less painful and hopefully make more money? Yes, I have a video on that, and it's like the top 3 mistakes I've made running my firm so far, and I recommend watching that video. Thank you all again for staying in here. If you're about to leave, thank you so much for staying with us throughout this whole journey. And it's been really fun with y'all. I hope y'all have had a great experience and have learned something new. So I have questions from y'all from the chat that I'm going to answer right now. Okay. Martha asks, what are your client reactions to increased pricing, and how do you frame it for them? So I have a template that I had created that I've sent out to other professionals like yourself, framing a price increase. So Martha, if you're on LinkedIn, then follow me on LinkedIn, Logan Graf. And there's a post, if you can find the post where I talk about price increases, if you say, Logan, I'd love to see your template, I'll send it to you. I'll direct message it to you. So I did a big price increase for only about 17 clients this year, because last year I did a price increase for about 50 clients. You know what? This year, only 2 people have said that they're going to leave, and the average price increase was 50%. and I told them to respond by 2 days ago. So I know some more are going to fall off and they just don't tell. They're just not going to tell me. But you'd be surprised how many people stay. A lot of people are going to stay, and it's usually not negative. I don't know if I've had like a huge negative reaction yet. Maybe once last year. Actually, I don't think so. They're just like, hey Logan, like, it's not a good fit anymore, and that's perfectly okay. You can do it. You can do it, Martha. All right, Sam asks, when do you pull payments from clients? So this past year, I pull it on completion of tax return. You might have asked that before I went into it. And then this coming year, I'm going to pull payment immediately when they sign their return. It's going to be done automatically for 1040 clients. Michael asks, would you give your client a discount to encourage if they pay the year up front? I might have done that before, pay up front, but I don't need to offer that discount. I don't for business clients. Okay. Would you offer the client discount? Maybe. I don't know. It just depends. I don't think I would need to, because that's a good question. I really don't know, but I don't think I would. All right, Martha again. What if the client begs to stay with you after you are deciding to disengage? Oh, give them a price where, like, actually, no. The money isn't worth it, Martha. The money's not worth it. If you're even thinking about disengaging with them, don't re-engage. Okay. Okay, Romeo asks, are state returns priced separately added on in the proposals package? Potentially. Usually not, because usually the state returns pop out of nowhere. So not really. Okay. Ryan asks, with your packages, do you adjust the pricing based on what you know about the client, or are all 1040s $1,000 for? So this year, I think I'll be able to customize that per client, that minimum price. If not, then it'll say like $1,000, and I'll have to communicate that. No, if I'm pricing all up front, then I can't do that. So it's gonna have to be like the right price. Aaron asks, do you have any clients that try to cancel the monthly payments for the business packages? I don't think I've encountered that yet, thankfully. Scott asks, how do you handle the installment when they sign on mid-year? I charge them all up front for that amount. So if 6 months have gone by, they get billed for that 6 months worth, all up front. You can make it so in Ignition. It's pretty nice. D Hall asks, for the clients you extend, how do you communicate that to them? Clients likely are not expecting to be extended. Well, I give them lots of warnings, so they're expecting it. Martha asks, do you also do accounting for business clients monthly? Yes. I'm trying to push that a lot more this year. Actually, Martha, don't work on any new business tax return clients unless you do their accounting. That's going to save you a lot of pain. Kyle asks, do you suggest putting a number limit / cap on the quick question item on the packages? No, because you'll most likely not encounter someone that makes it a pain. And also you think about your above, like across all of your clients, the average amount of questions that you're going to be asked is like, whoop. So it's okay if one asks the extreme. The average is going to be really low. I have some clients that don't ask me anything and they pay for it every year. Andy asks, do you charge the new pricing or have an inflation increase for the clients that end up returning later? Yes, I'll do yearly increases, a yearly percentage increase. I think I'll potentially always do a yearly percentage increase for my 1040s. Sandra asks, what tax software do you use? UltraTax, Virtual Office. And I pair it with SurePrep and TaxCaddy. Awesome. Are those all your questions, everyone? Did everyone have a good time? Learn anything new? What was of value? What would you like to... Oh, I've had this subscribe and check out links text the whole time. I'm sorry. This is my first time. What would y'all like to see in the future? See, I had a Q&A. I just didn't do it what I was supposed to. Does UltraTax have a built-in CRM or do you use something else? I use Airtable, remember? Oh, CRM as like managing client relationships? That's kind of all through Airtable/Ignition. Seeing my proposals was useful. Great. Thank you, Jenny. Yes, Martha, bundle those services, create some options. You want some content on common tax planning with clients. So that probably won't be my sort of content for this channel. This channel is really all about accounting firm owner and running accounting firms and my perspective of running a firm in the accounting industry as a whole. I don't know if I'll ever really go in deep about tax planning. I do plan on starting a tax related YouTube channel where I could go into tax planning. If y'all don't mind, I'd love for y'all to tell me to your friends, tell your friends about me. That'd be cool. Ryan says, not sure if you've done some content on this yet, but behind the scenes about how you decide on pricing for clients would be interesting. All right. Yeah, I've done a lot of tweets about that. So are you talking about like overall pricing, like the pricing that I put on my website? Or maybe the yearly increases? Thank you, Dwight, for watching the chat. Content on pricing and budget versus actual results. What went right and wrong. Cool, Ryan. How you decide. Okay, all right. So I'm not really getting any other questions. Appreciate everyone stopping in. I had a great time, and I'd love to do more of these in the future. It's pretty much tax season, so good luck, everybody. We're going to kill it together. Follow me on Twitter. I'd love to just hear from you and interact with you as much as I can. Watch all my videos. I'm almost monetized. Hopefully this is going to be like the video to help me get monetized for the year. And I love y'all. Thank you so much. I'm going to log off. Have a great rest of your week. See y'all soon. Y'all can do it. Hope y'all kill it this year.